affecting Odisha and Andhra Pradesh in the recent years, last 2 years only. So we don't have any definitive plan to for forewarning, for forecasting, or we are not updated ourselves to the Western status, of the advanced economy status, for forewarning or forecasting these events or these impending disasters. So that's one thing. Then secondly, NDMR, this जो national disaster management body है, that is not, it's totally disbanded for the time being. It is headless and it is toothless both. But more importantly, it is headless now. So either the government doesn't feel the significance of this body doing scientific work on forecasting and forewarning people, or I don't know what government is in place more on this front, but one thing is sure that we need to with the changing environment and with the new disasters coming up all across the globe, we have to prepare ourselves better during this 21st century to meet this. So this national development disaster body should be strengthened, should be more scientific. It is a dumping ground for rejected politicians and retired bureaucrats. It's dumping ground. So there are no scientists related to the subjects, maybe geologists, maybe environmentalists, whatsoever. All scientists should be there, so that they can make a comprehensive policy not only on providing scientific information regarding the impending disasters, but also making concrete plans to counter these disasters, to do proper rehabilitation work, and to get people rid of the agonies of the disasters.
Okay, Mr. Mehtab, is the problem there only with the NDMAs and the other bodies which are taking care of it, or there are more reasons?
No, I differ with Mr. Gandhi in the sense our forecasting system has improved a lot. Rather, it has surpassed the so-called Western support mechanism. We have witnessed that during last 3 years' time. The amount of the knowledge that we gathered relating to cyclone, which started from Pacific and affected Bay of Bengal and also the eastern coast, we were fairly more accurate relating to Phylin, relating to Hudhud, which the Western countries, especially the American system which they had placed in Pacific, that was not that up to mark as our predictions were, our forecasting was. In that respect, I would humbly mention that our forecasting mechanism has increased manifold. But at the same time, I would say what has happened in Kashmir Valley.
That's right.
In Kashmir Valley, our weather forecasting was not up to date. The government machinery, what was supposed to be very active, keeping that in view, whatever little information they could have, they also were not that responsive. But that didn't happen in Andhra Pradesh or in Odisha. Odisha government was well prepared in advance to displace 10 lakh of people during Phylin last year, which affected our coast in last October. We could displace 10 lakh of people. 3 things, and so also in Hudhud,
right.
More than 2.5 lakh people were displaced,
right.
were taken to shelter homes. What had happened in 71 when Odisha faced very severe cyclone? What had happened in 99, the super cyclone?
Right.
That is not the situation today. Situation today is government and the people of the country become aware of a impending calamity and also prepare themselves. Cyclone shelters have been erected. But I would also mention here 3 things have to be in mind, to be kept in mind. When a natural calamity strikes, first thing is to rescue. Second thing is to provide the affected people relief. And the third thing, which is a major thing, is also reconstruction. These 3 should be in place. NDMA, though today it doesn't have, I think Professor Kashyap will be in support of my version. Though today there is no, it is headless, and our party also said that in the Parliament when the deliberation started, we initiated that discussion. But I think NDMA is doing a terrific job. It is because of NDMA's, it is not only the chairman who does that.
Right.
It is the total setup which has come here.
Okay.
It is in different states also, the state disaster response force, SDRF also has been formed.
Right.
So both of these organizations, which is a dedicated organization which goes in before the
They are
calamity
doing a good
strikes,
job, as you
whether
are
it is flood,
suggesting.
because Odisha has been facing natural calamity not only once in a year, 2-3
Quite
times in a
frequently.
year.
Absolutely.
So we know how the new dispensation is now
Right.
operating, taking our fire service and other state machinery into view.
Forward.
But three
Okay.
things have to be kept in mind when calamity strikes. It is first and foremost is to rescue the people.
Right.
Second is to provide them relief, and
And
third
then
is the
reconstruction, as you
reconstruction.
said. But Mr. Thomas, what is the most challenging of them all? I mean, the three things that he just talked about.
As Mehtabji said, India has moved far ahead in natural calamity management, especially cyclones and hurricanes, not in landslides. It was in 2005 the present NDMA was formed.
Right.
And at that time, one retired army head was heading this institution. It may not have gone to the extent we wanted. The cyclone management, we are number one. We are far better than USA. But in the management of landslides, heavy rain, we find that we could not go ahead. So these are the issues which we have to handle now. A better management system, and as Mehtabji said, these three steps. What is first rescue operations, then giving assistance, then restructuring. These are the three issues we have to manage, and states have to be properly helped.
Right.
That
It
is why
becomes the state's
because
job
the states
entirely.
mainly it is a state subject. Nothing can be done from Delhi. So we also know which are the states which are
Besides giving some sort of assistance.
not
financial
only this type of assistance. It should be a permanent affair.
Right.
By which we know which are the states affected by hurricane, by cyclone, by the natural the other landslides. So that has to be identified, and proper assistance should be given to those states.
Those states.
That is where we
But
have to
more than
concentrate.
that, Mr. Kashyap, I think there is one of the things which the Andhra's Chief Minister also said, that we need to have long-term plans for cities to face calamities. You know, your government also talks about not just urban development, but having more smart cities, which should be better prepared in many, fashions, I would say. Especially for the zones which are badly affected. Do you think that the cities really need to be planned in a better manner to accommodate these day-to-day activities? Why just talk about calamities? Why just talk about these cyclones and other things? You see heavy rains in Mumbai. They cause such kind of clogging. You see in Delhi, you find the similar situation. Do you think that more needs to be done here in order to, make our cities prepared to handle such crisis?
Yes, you have rightly said that जो भी हमारे cities बन रहे हैं उसको well plan करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. But mostly what we see that town and country planning is there. But when we implement those rules and laws in those cities, the people object it. This is one of the problem. And so far as you have said that we want to construct smart cities, all such things should be there. That as you have said in Delhi and in other some bigger
Metro
cities,
yeah, largely it
water
is.
logging is there.
Yeah.
It is due to the misplanning of the governments. So that should be done in such a manner कि ये सारी चीज़ें होनी नहीं चाहिए. पर इसमें जैसे मेहताब जी ने काफ़ी उसमें कहा है और प्रोफेसर थॉमस he has also rightly said, I support the views they have expressed. इसमें ये है कि जो states हैं उनको properly जो है वो हमको तैयार करना पड़ेगा. ये नहीं है कि जब कोई ऐसा mishappening होने वाली होती है तो फिर हम एक्शन में आ जाते हैं, पर उससे पहले ही उसको तैयार रहना चाहिए हमको. और उसमें स्टेट्स का रोल सबसे ज़्यादा होता है. 90% से ज़्यादा जो रोल है वो स्टेट्स का है. तो उसके लिए पहले ही अगर हम तैयार करके रखें, और उसमें ये जो 3R की बात कही गई है, महताब जी ने कहा, इन 3Rs दैट शुड बी राइटली इम्प्लीमेंटेड इन द सेंस कि आफ्टर द हैपनिंग रिहैबिलिटेशन, दिस इज मेजर प्रॉब्लम.
And I guess, Mr. Mehtab, that's one of the biggest challenges, how to reconstruct the whole place, restructure them, rehabilitate
Actually,
them.
that's the case. The government of India and the state government have to work in tandem. Money is required for reconstruction and rehabilitate the affected people. It's not only to provide relief, but also to bring them to the mainstream,
Right.
so that they can earn their livelihood.
Right.
So उनका फसल ठीक हो, वो काम पे लग जाए,
Right,
फिर
right,
come back
right.
to the life. That is more
This
required.
is more important. Rehabilitation, this is important.
What Professor Thomas was hinting at, that in 2005 there was a severe earthquake in Sikkim, landslide in Arunachal, and also in
We'll have to
Assam.
probably skip a break and in fact
Uttarakhand,
quickly
faced
jump to another topic, which is another issue which is listed in today's list of business. That is another discussion on the reported dilution of MGNREGS. Again, your party is going to initiate it. I would like to ask you, Mr. Kashyap, is there something like that really going on? There had been a lot of reports on whether the government is really considering the dilution of the NREGA scheme.
I must say one thing. When this program was launched, everybody welcomed it. But during the last 5-7 years, we see when the question on मनरेगा came in the parliament, Lok Sabha और राज्य सभा, मेरे ख्याल में कोई भी MP ऐसा नहीं था जिसने उसको क्रिटिसाइज नहीं किया. Because why? Reason thereby that there was a lot of corruption at the lower level. मैं ये नहीं कहना चाहता कि सरकार की मंशा जो है वो ठीक नहीं थी. सरकार की मंशा बहुत अच्छी थी कि यानी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट लोगों को या एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट करने का एक बड़ा अच्छा साधन अच्छा था. कहाँ पर? जहाँ पर यानी हमारे पास मैन पावर थी, जहाँ पर उनको जो है वो ज़रूरत थी, ज़रूरतमंद लोगों को, और उसका लाभ भी मिला है. जैसे आंध्र प्रदेश में आई मस्ट से आंध्र प्रदेश में सबसे ज़्यादा लाभ मिला है. और मैं हिमाचल प्रदेश से आता हूँ, मैं आपको बताऊँ, वहाँ पर तो यानी प्रीवियसली वी वर हैविंग बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट देयर, तो वहाँ पर इसका बेनिफिट लोगों ने बहुत उठाया. पर उसमें ऐड करने की ज़रूरत है. आज बहुत से चीज़ें ऐसी ऐड करने की ज़रूरत है जिससे लोगों को लाभ मिले. अभी उसमें से बहुत सी चीज़ें पिछले दिनों काटी गई लोगों ने. अब जैसे हमारे हिली स्टेट्स में,
जिसको लेकर के बहुत सी ऑपोजिशन पार्टीज ने ये कहा कि ये एक प्रो पुअर स्कीम है और आप ऐसा स्टेप लेकर के इसको अलग डायरेक्शन में लेकर जा
नहीं,
रहे हैं.
उसमें 2-3 चीज़ें ना जी, काफ़ी चीज़ें करने की ज़रूरत है. जैसे मैं हिली स्टेट्स की बात करूँ थोड़ी सी देर, तो हिली स्टेट्स में जो है वहाँ पर लेबर और जो हमारा इसका रेशो है 60-40 का, वो दैट शुड बी रिवर्स्ड. कि क्योंकि वहाँ पर यानी लोगों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट कम ज़रूरत है, और जो हमारा दूसरा 60% का अगर हो जाए तो दैट इज़ मच बेटर. दूसरी बड़ी बात है, कुछ इसमें हमको ऐसे एरियाज़ को ऐड करना पड़ेगा जिससे वहाँ के लोगों को, खास करके जो पीजेंट्री क्लास है, उनको उसका बेनिफिट मिले.
Okay.
ये भी बहुत ज़रूरत है.
Okay.
तो इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है कि ये.
बट डू यू थिंक और इसमें और कंसल्टेशन होनी चाहिए थी बिफोर कंसिडरिंग दीज काइंड्स ऑफ थिंग्स, और
कंसल्टेशन तो मैडम जितनी मर्जी करते जाओ, उसका कोई एंड नहीं है, परंतु जितनी कंसल्टेशन हो उसकी प्रॉपर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन निचले स्तर तक हो जाए, टू द लोअर लेवल.
मिस्टर गांधी, व्हाट इज योर टेक ऑन दिस?
मनरेगा was and is a very good program meant for the benefit of the rural poor who till date had been badly neglected, or either they were left at the hands of the landowners to exploit their on wages issue. And this Manrega did help a lot, but there can be problems or difficulties or corruption with any programs, not only Manrega. So you have to rectify at that level, not to scrap or not to dilute this great program. So you can't throw baby with the bath. So if the government tries like that, it is going to be detrimental for the rural poor. I think this should not be done at all. Rather, we should plug the loopholes. We should see where the fault is, rectify it, and this program should be implemented in a more concrete and more transparent way. Assets should be created. Nobody took it seriously in the as it should have been taken. So it has created a lot of contradictions at the local level also between the farmers and the Manrega workers. So all those issues should have been addressed too, and now I feel that any delusion will not be tolerated.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Thomas, you see, this is seen as one of the schemes which brought your government back to power for the second term, because it became such a thing around the time when you had announced the Bharat Nirman Yojanas. The thing being that, you know, the left parties, one of the representative, I mean, we do not have a representative here, but they have been of the opinion that Congress had squeezed this plan earlier and BJP is just going ahead with that. How do you look at the fact that, you know, you couldn't do much about Narega in the following years after its launch, you know, that is in terms of incorporating more things? And
as Mr. Gandhi said, it is one of the historic empowerment of the rural people, especially the agriculture workers. Earlier, they did not get even the minimum wages. So, minimum wages was guaranteed. And this was welcomed throughout the country. That is why UPA 2, it is said, it is one of the political weapon UPA 2 used to come back to power. Apart from leaving alone that politics, it has done a lot of things, because everybody is empowered to get some kind of a minimum wages. That is important. But during the process of implementation, there has been a lot of problems, like the asset creation and some kind of a corruption. So, what I think the present government is also thinking not to throw away the scheme, to make it more effective. For that also I feel the state governments and especially the Gram Panchayats, because they are the people who implement this at the lower level, that has to be strengthened. And more areas have to be brought in, especially animal husbandry, agriculture. These are the areas where this scheme can be much better, fisheries can be implemented. States of Kerala have been asking that you expand this, so that it has some effect in fisheries sector, in agriculture sector, in animal husbandry sector.
Right.
And the government has to pump money also.
Right.
40,000 is earmarked, only given is 50%.
Right.
Give all the amount wherever there are defects.
Because year after year
rectify.
we have seen the budgets really,
yeah,
you know, cutting
so
down the money.
That they have to discuss with the state. Yesterday, Chief Minister's conference was there in the presence of the Prime Minister. They have discussed this matter. So, give some more power to the states. Let us be liberal. Central government be liberal to the state, because they are the people who implement, not in Delhi.
Okay. Mr. Mehtab, can we be really optimistic about it? Central government being more liberal and we see this Narega getting more strengthened?
Narega is actually an act, it is not a program. And it is demand driven. Wherever the local people sit down and want to get things done, they get it, pass it through the panchayat and get it approved from the collector or the district Jila Parishad. That is how the Narega was operating. Corruption is there and there is attempt to also minimize the corruption. Here the greatest thing is, money will directly go to the beneficiary, the worker, into his account, though he gets it after 7 days or 10 days time. And there also the hitch still continues to be. Corruption also is there at that level. The major thing which happened in the last decade of UPA rule is they wanted to do away with the intermediary, the contractor system. So that was gradually accepted by the people of this country. But today what is going to happen? There is a circular which has gone around from the Ministry of Rural Development, confining or giving more stress to 2,500 blocks. That is the major cause of worry.
Right.
Why you are diluting it?
Right.
It may be a political
right.
slogan that present Narendra Modi government is diluting the act or minimizing the program.
But they are concentrating on those 2,500 blocks.
There is a circular which has gone around. Right. I would only say,
Mr. Mehtab, you will please have to conclude.
All my blocks in my state should be covered in this.
Okay.
There are urban area is not covered in this.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I would say that it should happen in such a way where demand is there.
Okay.
This should be provided.
Fine.
Money should not be a constraint.
Should not be a constraint. Fine. On that note, we'll wrap up this discussion. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining us here. That is all we have for you in this edition of Agenda. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.